Hi everybody, my name's Suzanne Hyren and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. This week I'm preparing a pop-up card for you. One of those cards that maybe you said, how did she do that? Well, I'm going to show you how. Let's get started. Today we're going to make a very special pop-up card. Let me show you the result. Look at this. Isn't it pretty? So, this one's in pink and I used little magnets. I don't know if you heard it close. Today we're going to do one in blue. Same collection, same suite of products, the Sand and Sea. It was my favorite when I opened that January to June catalog. So, usually I cut and score everything before, but I want to show you how to do it. So I'm going to bring in my stamping trimmer that has two blades. The dark one is the cutting blade and the light gray is the scoring blade. So today this is the one we're going to use. Got to make sure not to get mixed up and use the other one. So this piece is 5 inches by 10 inches. And I need to tell you that you can adapt this to a 4 by 8 or a 6 by 6. And I'm going to score each side at 2.5 inches. So this is my base. So I'm going to fold that. Make sure I have some nice crisp edges. And we have 2 pieces of the Sand and Sea Designer Series paper that will go on the flaps right here. So we'll get those done and then we'll set it aside. I like to use the multi-purpose glue because it's a little more forgiving. So we line it up. All the measurements will be on my blog. You'll have the link to my blog below the video so you can take that down and print it if you want, or just follow the instructions. Everything will be on the blog. So that's our card base. Let's set that aside. Here's the part that will make the card pop. So the cardstock is cut at the exact same measurement, so 5 by 10. Again, we're going to use the scoring blade. Score it at 2.5 on each side, or if you prefer, you could do it at 2.5 and 7.5. We're going to fold this. Then we're going to take a ruler and we're going to measure to the 5-inch mark right here. And I'm going to make a tick mark with my take your pick tool and the attachment here. I don't want to use a pen or a pencil, but this one will tell me exactly where to fold and do my crisscross fold. So 5 inches again here. I think I'll use my silicone mat to give it a little more give. So 5 inches right here. And you can actually change it and have the smaller embosser right here, see? So when you're done, it's easy, you just turn it back and I'll show you when we're done. All right, so now we're going to score again from the tip to your little tick mark. So you see that line, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So my tick mark is right here. Line it up in the groove. And again, my scoring blade. Now you're going to turn your card and do the exact same thing and create that crisscross this way. And again, this time it's easier to see because we already have that point that creates the X right here. So this is our structure. So I'll leave the paper trimmer aside. And now we're going to fold on these score lines. So now you have your structure, and you'll bring it in this way. Burnish those creases so they're nice and flat. Do the same thing here. So this is what creates the pop-up, and they join in the middle. So you see the result. Now what we're going to do is decorate the inside. So I'm going to bring back my stamping trimmer. I've cut some pieces of Designer Series paper from that collection, the Sand and Sea collection. So I've got one piece that is flat that I'm going to use for the center right here. And then I have another piece that I've scored to create 4 triangles. So I've scored it ahead of time, so I'm sure that I'm cutting at the right area. And this time I'm going to take my dark scoring blade, and it's my dark cutting blade, and I will cut my pieces. Because I've scored them ahead of time, I don't know if you can see that line. It's a bit faint for the camera. I'm lining it up again on the groove, taking my cutting blade and cutting in the center. So now I have 2 pieces. I'll do the same with the other one. Line it up here. Use the cutting blade. And there we have these pieces to decorate. The other pieces that I'm going to use are these pearlescent specialty paper little pieces that are cut at 2 1/4, and all the measurements again will be on my blog. So give me a minute, I'll be right back after I have embossed them. All right, so I've used the pearlescent paper with the seabed embossing folder, and this is the result. Isn't that pretty? So now I'll just cut these because they are going to frame the center. So again, my cutting blade, and make sure it's nice and straight, lined up with the groove. There we go. So put this aside, and now we're going to determine where every piece goes. So we have these that will frame the middle. Like so. And these that we cut earlier will be on each side. And I have one more to cut. Bring this in. One piece that's the exact same size as the one I cut in the middle for the two remaining edges. So because it's designer series paper, it has two sides that have different patterns. So it's up to you. You can actually use this side for the smaller pieces and this for the bigger that creates this kind of look, or the other way around. I kind of like this look. So I'll be right back. I'll stick everything on and I'll be right back to show you the next steps. So now that everything's stuck together, it's time to do our sentiment for the inside and the top of the card. So this suite has a stamp set called Friends Are Like Seashells. So that's what I'm going to use for the inside of the card. I'm going to bring in my mat. I'm using Misty Moonlight ink, and for this card I'm going to use the stamp that says friends are like seashells, you collect them along the way. For the top of my card, I'm going to use the happy birthday to my beautiful friend. So there we go. So for this, I used the Stitched Nested Labels dies, and this one measures 4 inches across, so it fits nicely on the inside of my card. And I like this stitch nested labels because it kind of pulls in the style, the angles here in the corner, so I'm gonna stick that right there. And the other one I used for the top of my card measures 4.5 wide. So it's from the same nested labels. And for this one, as I said, I'm going to use Happy Birthday, My Beautiful Friend. Just clean this one off. There's some really fun greetings in this set. One of them says, "Love you to the beach and back." Just cute. Happy birthday to my beautiful friend. And I want to decorate this label. So I'm done with the ink. Clean my stamp. I'm going to use one of the pearlescent little seashells here that are with this product suite. So I'm going to stick one right here. And there's also these lovely opal rounds, and I'm going to use some of those. Take your pick tool, come on. See how easy it is to change the tools on your Take Your Pick tool? Just twist it, flip it. Here's one, two, and where can I put this one? Right here. All right, so now it's time to put our card together. So we have our base, and we have our folded pop-up. It's going to go right here in the center. So what I'm going to do is just use, again, the multi-purpose glue because it's very strong for this type of project. And I'm going to fold the flap over and give it a good press. Now that this side's done, I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. It's a new bottle, so it's coming out fast and furious. Here we go. Give it a good press. And while I keep that down, I wanted to share a little tip with you. I'm not sure if you pay much attention when you get Designer Series paper. On the back of the wrapping, there is a description of all the colors that are in the paper. So you can coordinate your cardstock for the base and for your accessories. So Sand and Sea Designer Series paper has Blushing Bride, which I showed you the first card, Flirty Flamingo, Melon Mambo, Sahara Sand, Seaside Spray, and So Saffron. So this one is the Seaside Spray. And of course, the pearlized accessories are Seaside Spray to match exactly the same color. Isn't that great? I love the color coordination. So here's my pop-up. Good to go. Now I can adjust where I want to put the label on the top. Now to close it down, you can use a magnet like I did with the other one, or just the ribbon. So for this one, let's do the ribbon. And the ribbon, of course, is coordinated, and I like this one because it has kind of a sandy look to it in the center with the Seaside Spray. So I'll just wrap it around my card, snip off enough to give it a little bow. And when I know where it's going to go, let's center it here. Fold it over. I'm going to use a bit of snail right here. Tack it down. And that's where my label will be adhered. So to adhere the label, of course, we don't want to put the dimensionals all over because we don't want to stick it closed forever. We want to leave the option of opening the card. So I'm going to make sure I have them all on one side, and it's the right side. And I'm going to use the Take Your Pick tool to remove the backing. And just stick it to my card. Now I can do either a bow or a little knot. I don't want to do it too tight because I want the person to be able to open it to see the inside. That's the surprise. I'll just work it a little bit here. Trim the edge. Now because it's very pop, it's a pop card, so you may want to add a little magnet here that will hold it down. And these go on perfectly with our glue dots. So I put a glue dot here. Hold it down, and so I'm sure they're stuck together at the same spot, and now all I have to do is take the glue dot, stick it on the magnet, and then stick the piece of cardstock to it. So there's another way to close it. And as a bonus, I'm going to show you how to make an envelope to hold your card, because these don't fit in our standard envelopes. So unfortunately, Stampin' Up! Doesn't have these boards anymore, but I use it every day. It's an envelope punch board, and it was made by We Are Memory Keepers, and I think they still make them. So if you have an opportunity to get them, don't miss out, because it's really helpful to have one of these. So, nope, did that wrong. 5 by 5, 8 1/8 by 8 1/8, and your score line is as 4 1/8. So 4 1/8, punch, score. You line up, punch, score, punch, score. One last time, punch and score. Get your folds done. I love this paper. It's just so pretty, the pearlescent paper. And it goes with the inside of the card. So now that we have that done, yeah, here, this is better. We'll just stick it together. Get rid of these. And what a nice way to keep it closed than with one of these. So we'll kind of put that to keep it closed. This is the kind of card you want to give in person. It's so much nicer, and it's nicer to be with the person when they open it and see the surprise of the pop-up. Well, I hope you enjoyed this project, and I just wanted to show you one more card that I did that looks completely different. This is also a pop-up card, but with different designer series paper, different punch, and a magnet again, different colors. So this is the result. All right, I hope you give it a try at home. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.